Ghana has always been a land blessed with riches. For centuries, its land has held vast deposits of gold and diamonds. These precious resources brought wealth and prosperity to the region. Ghana became known as a gold coast. People traded gold and diamonds. They used them to create beautiful jewelry and artifacts. The Ashanti Empire, a powerful kingdom in Ghana, controlled much of the gold trade. The Ashanti were skilled goldsmiths, crafting intricate pieces that showcased their cultural heritage. They used gold to adorn their kings and queens, demonstrating their power and prestige. Gold was a symbol of wealth and spiritual significance. Ghana's gold and diamonds attracted attention from far beyond its borders. European powers, eager for wealth and resources, set their sights on the Gold Coast. The arrival of the Europeans would forever change the fate of Ghana and its people. The arrival of European powers in the 15th century marked a turning point in Ghana's history. The Portuguese were the first to arrive, establishing trading posts along the coast. They were drawn by the allure of gold and the potential for new markets. The Dutch and British followed soon after, competing for control of the lucrative trade. Initially, the relationship between the Europeans and the local populations was primarily based on trade. Europeans exchanged goods such as textiles, guns, and alcohol for gold, ivory, and other resources. However, this relationship would soon sour as European greed for profit grew. They sought to maximize their profits by minimizing their costs, leading them to turn to a horrific source of labor, enslaved Africans. The transatlantic slave trade, already underway, would soon engulf Ghana. Millions of Africans, including many from Ghana, were forcibly transported across the Atlantic Ocean to work on plantations in the Americas. This brutal system of forced labor enriched European nations while decimating African societies. While the transatlantic slave trade saw millions of Africans shipped across the ocean, European powers also employed forced labor within Ghana itself. The discovery of gold and diamonds in Ghana's interior led to the establishment of mines. European companies, with the backing of their governments, employed brutal tactics to extract these resources. Africans were forced into labor in these mines. They endured horrific conditions. The work was dangerous and exhausting. Many died from overwork, disease, or malnutrition. The mines became places of immense suffering. Families were torn apart as men, women, and even children were forced to work in the mines. The use of forced labor was essential to the profitability of these mining operations. It allowed European companies to extract vast quantities of gold and diamonds at minimal cost. This wealth fueled European industrialization and expansion, while Ghana and its people paid a heavy price. The transatlantic slave trade, the extraction of resources like gold and diamonds, and the use of forced labor were all interconnected. They formed a triangle of exploitation that enriched European powers at the expense of African lives and resources. Gold and diamonds, extracted through forced labor in Ghana, were shipped to Europe. These resources were used to finance the slave trade, purchasing more enslaved Africans. These enslaved people were then shipped to the Americas to work on plantations, producing crops such as sugar, cotton, and tobacco. These raw materials were then shipped back to Europe, generating immense profits. This interconnected system of exploitation had a devastating impact on Ghana. It led to the loss of millions of people to the slave trade, decimated local economies, and fueled internal conflicts. The legacy of this exploitation continues to affect Ghana today. Section 5. The Hidden History: Why We Don't Know Enough. Despite the profound impact of slavery and forced labor on Ghana's history, this dark chapter has often been overlooked or forgotten. There are several reasons for this. European colonial powers, eager to justify their actions, often downplayed the brutality of their regimes. They presented a narrative of colonization as a civilizing mission, ignoring the violence and exploitation that underpinned their rule. Furthermore, the history of slavery and forced labor is a painful and traumatic one. Many people, both in Ghana and in the West, have been reluctant to confront this difficult past. The physical evidence of this exploitation, such as mines and slave castles, has often been neglected or destroyed. However, it is crucial that we confront this hidden history. Understanding the legacy of slavery and forced labor is essential for understanding the challenges facing Ghana today. Section 6. Remembering the past, the importance of truth. Remembering and understanding this painful past is not about dwelling on the horrors of the past. It is about honoring the memory of those who suffered and recognizing the lasting impact of these injustices. It is about understanding how this history continues to shape the present. Acknowledging the truth about the past is essential for achieving reconciliation and justice. It allows us to understand the root causes of inequality and to work towards a more just and equitable future. It also allows us to celebrate the resilience and strength of the African people who endured these atrocities. By learning from the mistakes of the past, we can create a better future for all. Section 7. Uncovering the Truth: Archaeology and Oral Histories. Uncovering the hidden history of slavery and forced labor in Ghana requires a multifaceted approach. Archaeology plays a crucial role in revealing the physical evidence of this past. Excavations at former mining sites and slave trading posts can unearth artifacts and remains that provide tangible evidence of the conditions endured by enslaved Africans. Oral histories, passed down through generations, offer invaluable insights into the lived experiences of those who endured slavery and forced labor. These stories, often passed down orally within families and communities, provide a different perspective from official historical accounts. They offer a more personal and nuanced understanding of the impact of these events. By combining archaeological evidence with oral histories, researchers and historians can piece together a more complete and accurate understanding of this dark chapter in Ghana's history. Section 8. Education for Liberation, Teaching the Next Generation. Education plays a vital role in ensuring that the history of slavery and forced labor in Ghana is not forgotten. By teaching young people about this history, we empower them to learn from the past and work towards a better future. It is essential that this history be taught in a sensitive and age-appropriate manner, acknowledging the horrors of slavery while also highlighting the resilience and resistance of the African people. Educational initiatives can take many forms, from incorporating this history into school curricula to developing museum exhibits and documentaries. It is important to engage with diverse perspectives and to provide a platform for the voices of those who were directly impacted by this history. By educating future generations about this often overlooked aspect of Ghana's past, we can contribute to a more just and equitable future. Section 9. Ghana's Future. Learning from the Past. Ghana has made significant strides since gaining independence in 1957. However, the legacy of slavery and colonialism continues to cast a long shadow. Economic inequality, political instability, and social divisions are all in part a result of this history. By acknowledging and confronting this past, Ghana can move forward with a greater understanding of the challenges it faces. Understanding the history of slavery and forced labor is not about assigning blame or dwelling on the past. It is about learning from the mistakes of the past and working to create a more just and equitable future for all Ghanaians. It is about recognizing the strength and resilience of the Ghanaian people and celebrating their rich cultural heritage. By confronting its past, Ghana can build a brighter future for generations to come.